Today I'm going to be showing you the very basics of sewing. The very first step of learning how to sew is learning your sewing machine. We're going to start up here at the top. This is where you're going to put your spool of thread. I'm going to use a dark colored thread so that you can see how I thread the machine. But I'm going to just let it sit right there for a minute. Okay, right here on the right you have the bobbin spindle. This is where you would fill up a bobbin with thread. A bobbin holds the thread that goes on the underside of whatever you're sewing. Right here is your tension dial. Your tension dial tells your top thread how tight you want the stitches to be. This piece right here with a little knob sticking up is part of what you would use with your bobbin spindle to fill a new bobbin with thread. That way you don't have to buy pre-filled bobbins every time you run out, because they hold significantly less thread than a normal spool would. Behind this piece of plastic, and you'll see when we thread it, is where your tension discs are. Now they sit together like this, and depending on the tension that you have set, they come apart more or together more. And they're teeny tiny, but when you thread your thread, you have to make sure that it catches in the tension discs. Otherwise, it won't look right and won't have the right tension when you get down lower on the machine. Right here, you have step 1 of threading your machine. It's this little hook that you just pop the thread into that holds the thread in place. Next, you have step 2, which is fairly similar. It's this little piece right here, and you go behind it. Okay, so now I have my thread right here, and I'm going to go down through the tension plates, and you want to do it fairly firmly, and we're going to go back up. There's a metal hook in here. I'm going to go counterclockwise, back, around, and down. Now let me lower the camera angle so that you can better see what I'm doing now that we're down lower on the sewing machine. So you've gone down and back up and around and down. And this machine is really nice because each step is numbered. So this next part of threading the machine is a little bit tricky because my machine has a needle threader on it, and some machines don't. So at this point, with many machines, you would put the thread behind this little notch. Let me get close so you can see it. Okay. So there is a notch right here where number 6 is. You'll go behind it. And then with most machines, you will directly thread the needle by hand. With this machine, however, you can use the automatic needle threader. So you go 6, and then you go up, and you go into the tension disc that's right here on the side. Once you do that, you go up further and cut your thread, and you push down on this lever, and it will thread your needle just like that. And you'll just pull it through, and now your top part of your sewing machine is ready to go. The bobbin is very easy to see and to remove in this machine. You'll see right here, you just pull this little tab and this pops up. Now that's our thread from the top. Okay, here's our bobbin. It's inside what's called a bobbin casing. So if I were to take this out, this is a bobbin. They can be plastic or metal, and you need to use the kind that's right for your machine, because if you don't, you can get some really bad tangles. We are going to put it in with the thread wrapped around it as depicted. We're going to go into the bobbin casing, and that little loop of plastic right there, we are going to go there and then we are going to go up and around and pull. And it will automatically cut that thread, and then you are ready to go. Now, if you've never sewn before, I'm going to tell you a few more things. This raises up and down. It's called the presser foot. Underneath the presser foot, which I'm going to take off for a second, are what are called the feed dogs. The feed dogs work almost like a bicycle chain, kind of like a bicycle chain. They go down and around and up, and down and around and up, in order to move your fabric through the machine so that you don't have to pull on it or tug. You never want to get behind the fabric if you're just sewing a straight stitch and pull on the fabric. It can mess up your machine, it can break your needle, it can mess up your fabric. So you let the feed dogs do the majority of the work. I'm adding this portion of the video in to tell you just a few more things and to show you this machine in action. This is a Brother SE600, which means it does embroidery and sewing. I would say I use it more for embroidery than I do for sewing because I have other machines that I use for sewing. But I just wanted you to see it in action. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Also, let me know what other kinds of videos you would like to see. Thanks so much for watching.